Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, December 26, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5 card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the 10 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 2 of Swords in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this energy that we're experiencing right now, because one of the things that we're effectively observing is working through, and I need to describe this. I want to describe the positions of where we're seeing things right now, because the energy itself feels incongruous. And when we're talking about incongruity, it's feeling, or it's working through the context of things not necessarily being where they energetically should be placed. Now, the reason that that's important is because the modality by which we kind of like see the shape of the planets right now, we've got all of these really, really dense energetic planets that are still in retrograde. And that's effectively working through Jupiter, that's in retrograde in Cancer, and Uranus, that is in retrograde in Taurus. Now, I want to, and we've also got Eris and Chiron that are also still in retrograde. But the thing I want to describe about this is it's and this is what I meant. I know that everybody was really, really eager for the planets to come out of retrograde, but I keep on trying to articulate it's not the fact that the planets need to come out of retrograde. It's the working through the modality or the direction of how they do, right? The position of the planets and the modality by which they release, it can sometimes create more frustration, not less frustration. And we're going to talk a little bit about this right now, because Jupiter in Cancer in retrograde can create a lot of energetic sensitivity in relationality to the self, right? Everybody is potentially feeling heightened sensitivity in relationality to the self. It's a lot of that heightened observation of working through that. Now, in the same modality that we're effectively working through that sensitivity, we also have the fact that we've got Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus in Taurus is working through the perception of the self. It's working through the ability that we have in relationality to how we're trying to do things or how we're trying to go about things, right? Uranus can often create that adaptability point or working into the context of change. Now, I want to stress this, because the one thing that we need to kind of be paying very close attention to is when all of the planets were in retrograde, it was the modality of feeling that everybody was feeling that, right? But your Jupiter in Cancer and Uranus in Taurus in retrograde with Eris and Chiron, it can create the feeling of hermit energy, focused entirely upon the self. Okay. It's working into, and it's also working into the context of time, right? It's working through the frustration with time. It's working through the fact that we don't have enough of it. It's working through the space by which, like, we try to be as effective as possible with what we energetically have. So I want you to be kind of conscientious with that right now. And to add to this, right? To add to this same energy of Venus between Mercury and Mars, right? Working into the and I'm going to keep on saying this for as long as I keep on seeing Venus tucked between Mercury and Mars right now. It's not the fact that we're going through a Venus in retrograde cycle. I'm going to keep on saying this. We're not going through a Venus in retrograde cycle. We're not going through a Venus in retrograde cycle. But you would be surprised with this energy, because it sure feels like one. Right? And what do we often experience when we're going through Venus in retrograde cycles? The distortion on the perception of the self, right? It's working into the context of feeling those modalities or experiences by which we often feel, right, a distortion in relationality to how we perceive the self. So I want to stress this right now. Okay? If you aren't feeling if you are not feeling good about the self, I want you to make sure that you're talking to others for a sense of clarity. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, you're being too hard on yourself. I don't care who you are right now, you're being too hard on yourself. Everybody's going through this right now. And when we recognize that we're all feeling that energetic distortion in relationality to the self and how we perceive the self, and we're able to navigate it with a sense of compassion. Okay. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. Okay. And we're going to start right now by talking about a lot of those moon relationships, recalling that those moon relationships were coming together between the time of between the time of Uranus stationing retrograde up until the present. Can I get one card, please? Center card. We've got here the Chariot energy. So we see even now that this is the culmination of a lot of those moon relationships. Now let's talk a little bit about those relationships. Those relationships going through these experiences, right? We were talking about the space by which this has been the relationship of the constant kerfuffle, right? Having to deal with, like, I keep on hearing absolutely absurd situations and circumstances. All these like little, I keep on getting like all these little things popping up in the context of the energy trying to build relationship with one another. So I just keep on seeing with a lot of these relationships, you know, the gift that they're finding is their refinement, right? It's not the fact that the situations or circumstances have been ideal for these relationships to come together. And I keep on seeing that modality or that ability or that adaptability, being able to kind of go through something with a sense of energetic nuance. I feel like for a lot of those relationships, that observation of effectively, I keep on getting being able to energetically refine upon something, but not just the space by which they're energetically able to refine upon it, but by having compassion for one another along the way. I just keep on getting that these are circumstances or situations by which I keep on hearing like the space by which they energetically heal is like, and I keep on getting, it's like these are the relationships by which they heal because they don't make, and I want to describe this, they don't make a big deal out of things. You know, like that's the thing about it. It's like, that's what's been taking so long with these relationships, right? It's like they're giving each other, and because of that, they are the gift of each other's peace. Is what I keep on seeing. They're like giving each other the gift of peace because it's just like when you find, like I keep on getting, like when you find the energetic counterpart that prioritizes peace, like the path of peace is found via the energetic refinement. And so even in the modality by which they're like giving each other, like they're giving each other that peace, I feel like the peace that they give is the space by which they're constantly working in a direction of trying to make it energetically easier for one another, right? It's like the gift of effectively, like these are relationships. I told you, like these relationships are so smooth. But the reason that they're energetically smooth is because they've been coming together during a prolonged retrograde cycle. Okay. It's like, even in the context of that, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like it's moon relationships. So it makes sense that like it's all about energetic smoothness or finesse. So we see that there's a lot of that work there, and a lot of that work, I feel like it's like, I feel like it's the energy that kind of works toward, like, sees one another as like they see one another as that energetic breath of fresh air, right? Like it's a modality or the experience by which they feel that sense of easement. And even in the modality by which they experience it, they allow for that context of working through or articulating to each other. I feel like this is a lot of that energy that is like, I feel like it's almost like the space by which they're articulating to each other the value of the peace that they bring to one another. Because I keep on hearing like they understand, they don't feel like that piece is energetically conditional. It's the space by which they see the fact that the piece that we bring to each other is the amplification of the level or degree of care that we have for one another. And this brings us to those fourth and fifth cards of our 5 card spread, moving back towards the temperance relationships. And you'll remember those temperance relationships were coming together between the time, they were coming together between the time of the coming together between the time of Uranus stationing retrograde up until the solstice period that we had this summer. We've got here the 3 of Cups in its upright in combination with the 10 of Cups in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about those energies, because what we see right now with the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Cups in its upright, it is working through, I keep on getting, working through the modality or the experience by which we, how do I describe this? By which we articulate and amplify upon feeling, I keep on getting that, that sense of energetic purpose, but not just, I want to say, not just a sense of energetic purpose, working into the context of resilience. And what's hard for a lot of those relationships right now, particularly in relationality, to working through resilience, is those, I feel like, and this is what's hard with those relationships, the Venus between Mercury and Mars right now, in those experiences, I just keep on getting, it's like Mercury between, like, it's working into, like, it's perceiving the self too harshly. Okay? And I'm going to keep on talking about this for those who are going through that right now, because I feel like a lot of it, like, I don't know why, but I feel like there's a heightened sensitivity for those temperance relationships right now, because and I need to stress this if you're feeling this, the sound of perfection is often the space by which we are mad at ourselves because we're not energetically there yet. And we're hard on ourselves in relationality to the direction that we're going towards. Do you understand that is working through the space by which we are identifying the honor that we try to bring forth to things, right? Like those modalities or those experiences by which we articulate and refine upon and work towards something. I just keep on seeing for a lot of those relationships, that ability of potentially, like, I can see the energy almost articulating upon the space by which they hope to do something better. And I can almost hear counterpart articulating and saying, do you realize how, like, that is the sound of you trying to beautify everything that you energetically touch, is what I keep on getting. Like, that's what I hear counterpart saying. Do you realize that is because your identification of trying to energetically beautify everything that you touch is such that you get hard on the self, that you get hard on the self in relationality to trying to do something even better, right? There's a lot of that work that we energetically see, that's often what we feel with the Venus, with the Venus between those two modalities. So for a lot of the energy doing that work, I keep on hearing like this is the energy that's hard on the self, and the counterpart saying to them, that's because that's where your compassion lies. You know, like that is the sound of you articulating upon the compassion that you're working to bring towards things. So I feel like for a lot of the energy working upon that, or identifying that, or having those experiences by which they articulate it, I just keep on seeing like it's the energy. It's almost like the energy trying to articulate to counterpart the fact that the compassion that they bring towards things must also connect to the self as well. Now let's bring that back to those magician relationships, and those magician relationships were effectively coming together. They were coming together between the time. They were coming together between the time of the Mercury and the solstice period this summer up until the time of Mercury and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune, which was around March. Can I get one card to clarify between the Ten of Pentacles in its reversal with the Two of Swords in its reversal? We've got here the Page of Pentacles in its upright. So for a lot of that energy, what do we see here? I feel like for a lot of the energy that we see that's working, I keep on getting a lot of the energy that we see that's working through those modalities or experiences. I just keep on getting that a lot of those, a lot of those relationships are, they're building, they're like, I just keep, the energy's building towards, building towards energetically logical, stable approaches to things is all I keep on seeing. And this is what I mean with that Page of Pentacles energy that is deep within divine union, because I just keep on seeing that a lot of that energy is like, it's a lot of the energy that is working through what feels energetically practical, and a lot of that practicality. And I'm not surprised to see that type of practicality there, particularly with the combination of energy that we identify with both, like the energy that we identify with, Venus and Mars in Capricorn right now, which is like, and I keep on getting this, like when we feel energetically frustrated upon things, I just keep on hearing the conversation of what feels energetically practical or productive guides us towards what feels like it is energetically stabilizing. And I keep on getting that, I feel like there's something about the productivity there that feels like it is energetically like stabilizing, because I keep on getting that productivity is articulated by the sense of being able to effectively, how do I describe this? Like working into the context of helping to energetically work upon something, but in such a way that allows for something that's practical. And I feel like that's really beautiful here, because for a lot of these magician relationships, I don't like, I feel like it's interesting. I almost feel like a lot of these magician relationships are healing from the need of others' outside approval in relationality to what they know is energetically effectively good, is what I keep on seeing. And this is what I meant about that maturation point in a lot of those relationships or a lot of those circumstances, because I have to articulate that, like for a lot of those for a lot of those remember I keep on saying that those magician relationships are like moving into the modality of like wizening or coming into wisdom. And the thing about it is wisdom often is experienced in things that we see that hurt us to see, right? Like that's why we call it wisdom. Like we wince when we see it, right? It's like, but it's not often that space by which we wince. It's not because, right? It's not because there's something within us that needs to change. It's something that we observe outside the self. And that's what I keep on getting that's happening right now for a lot of these magician relationships. It's seeing something outside of partnership that hurts to see, but not letting that hurt change how they see things, right? Like that is often, like that is the difference. Like the hard part with receiving wisdom is not allowing bitterness to come in when one observes wisdom. But the modality by which we don't allow wisdom, like the space by which we're able to see something, but we don't allow it to change the quality or condition of our heart space, I feel like that's a lot of the work that we identify or articulate or recognize that is happening in those experiences. And and I feel like I almost hear a lot of that active conversation that's happening in those experiences as they're trying to build towards not only only healthy relationship, but relationships outside of partnership that are supportive of the type of work that they're finding within the counterpart connection. This brings us back to those moon relationships. Can I please get clarification between the Two of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Chariot card? We've got here the 10 of Cups in its upright. So we've got double tens out right now. And what do we see right now with the, well, apologies. Well, I don't know why I said 10. It's a 9. I'm sorry. Please forgive your tarot reader for misreading the 10 into a 9. But we're gonna talk through that for a minute, because I need to point out this is why, right? You get a 1 with a 9, and that becomes a 10, right? And so this is what we see that's happening, and this is why those temperance relationships appreciate each other so much, right? Like this is what we do. Like this is what we do in healthy counterpart connection, right? The modality or the experience, like I told you, the energy, like, and remember how I said, it's very funny. It's very funny that I articulated that I saw a 10 there, right? Because this is exactly what's happening in those counterpart connections, right? The energy that gets hard on the self, right? Like the energy that the energy that over scrutinizes the self, and in the modality by which one articulates and defines upon something that one wishes that one could do better, right? What does the healthy counterpart do? Right? Navigates the space by which, again, I keep on hearing, healthy love is not the experience by which we have to be perfect, right? Healthy love is the space by our 9s become 10s in healthy love, because it's the modality or the experience by which we perseverate upon it, the anxiety by which we have in relationality to hoping or resolving upon the sense of doing better. And those experiences by counterpart that articulates and says, the shape of your love is such that even when it's perfect, you're trying to find a way to perfect it, right? Like that is the experience that we bring to situations that we love tremendously, right? We energetically agonize upon them. And so I feel like I keep on getting, right? Like this is what we see with like the 9 of Cups and the Chariot card. It's conversations upon the agony, like the agony of the self by which we aspire to do better. And then the modality by which another energetically resolves or absolves us, because we see the energetic 10 in the 9, right? So we see that there's a lot of that conversation that's happening in terms of those experiences. But even in the modality by which the energy gets too hard on the self, which is what we will experience when we've got Venus tucked between Mars and Mercury, right? You got that energy being like everything's like, it's the energy that articulates upon that easement that we bring to situations. Now, continuing to get clarification between the Chariot card and the 3 of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Woo! Magician relationships. The Devil card. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Devil card and its upright. Let's talk a little bit about that Devil card and its upright for these magician relationships, because it has to do, like, this is what I mean with these. And it's like every time I go to talk about the magician relationships, like I have to start clearing my throat, because the thing about it is, and I need to describe this, like the amplification of love that we bring to things, right? Like the amplification of love that we bring to things is always the modality or the experience by which I keep on hearing, we work to do something in a way that feels like, I keep wondering, it's the space by which we work to do something in such a way that it allows for the amplification of identifying and recognizing what feels energetically supportive. And I keep on seeing, this is why, like, can I just show, like, this is exactly why this is so hard for these magician relationships, because I literally feel like I can see this energy being like, this is nuts. Like, this is like the energy going, this is nuts, right? Because if this is the energy, if someone's being like I can see some energy right now working into the space of being in a relationship, and someone being like, what's wrong with that person? Why is that person mad at you? And the energy is like, well, it seems to me that they're potentially upset because I'm moving in a healthy direction with energy that supports me, and it's a modality. Like, it's a little bit of like, I keep on seeing these magician relationships are working through experience of being like, make it make sense, right? Like it's the energy being like, I don't know. It seems like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems to me like why is someone big mad? And this is what happens. Like, if they're working through the understanding that the spiritual journey, like the journey of moving towards the health and support of the self, it's like the space by which we recognize the difference between something that energetically makes sense versus working towards something that feels energetically supportive, like in the modality. I keep on seeing like the energy is like dealing with like the cosmic shrug, which is like the cosmic shrug is like working into the context of understanding that we build into what feels like it's energetically supportive, and we do everything we can in that modality. And often, I keep wondering, like, often the experience by which we work through, and I keep on hearing, we meet others' hard feelings with logic and compassion. We meet others' hard feelings, and I keep on, this is what I'm hearing from the magician relationships. We meet each other's hard feelings with logic and compassion, and we step no further, is what I keep on hearing, right? We meet each other's feelings with a sense of logic and compassion, and our desire not to step any further is the amplification of our love, right? Because it's the modality by which we welcome the possibility of allowing for something to heal, but not going through the energetic non-necessity of pushing something, but beyond the space by one is able to navigate the logic that we bring towards it. And that's what I keep on seeing. Like, I feel like there's some energy right now working through those magician relationships that's healing by understanding that the context of being able to hold care for another at an energetic distance, right? Like, that is often what we bring to circumstances or situations, right? It's the space by which our love, and this is what we talk about with holding an energetic standard in relationality to our love. The energetic standard that we hold towards our love is the space by which we navigate it with a sense of reason and proportionality, right? It's the modality by which we stand, and we say with love that we go no further, because that modality of articulating upon the space by which we go no further is the force of intensity by which we bring towards circumstances or situations that allow the context by which something can energetically heal, right? And so I see even now, like, it's interesting because this is the energy that articulates upon the healthy choices that they make for themselves. And even in the healthy choices they make in counterpart connection, right? The healthy choices that energetically fortify, that create a point of energetic stabilization, that in kind, right, allow others the opportunity to energetically meet them there, right? And so for a lot of that energy, I keep on getting, it feels like the relationship itself is a breath of fresh air, right? So the relationship itself is a breath of fresh air because it's the spot by which the possibilities are energetically amplified in relationality to being able to understand what feels fortifying. So I keep on getting it's interesting in the positionality of that card, given the cards we see around it. But this is the effective, this is the amplification of the work in terms of how much the energy is working deep within that context of relationship. Like the observation of the fact of, I keep on hearing, like, the space by which we work to amplify or articulate upon something in such a way that we're allowing for our force of intention to effectively drive our actions in positive, beneficial directions. Continuing to get clarification between our 3 of Cups in combination to our 10 of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. We've got the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, I don't mind. Here's the thing about it. An ace is an ace is an ace. I never mind seeing an ace card. I don't even mind seeing an ace card in its reversal. Like the aces are such that, and honestly, like Ace of Pentacles in its reversal often asks us to navigate circumstances and situations with a sense of proportionality. It's the modality and the experience by which we're able to energetically amplify upon something, and not just the space by which we work to amplify upon something, but the modality and the experience by which we energetically articulate upon. I keep on hearing like the space by which we work through something that allows, I keep hearing like allows for the proportionality of how we effectively, like allows for the proportionality that becomes its own sense of courtesy, is what I keep on hearing. And moving back into those moon relationships, like speaking towards those moon relationships, you know, what we effectively identify is, I keep on seeing, it's the quality and the condition by which we articulate upon the gift that we, like how we, the gift that we are in each other's lives. And I keep on seeing that gift is often most amplified in the space by which I keep wondering, like the space by which we ease each other's experiences. And I keep on getting, there's no greater gift, is what I keep on hearing. When one feels the pressure, I keep on hearing, when one feels the pressure of the world that is constantly demanding, the gift of a relationship by which we, like the gift of a relationship by which we find that we work towards the mutual energetic satisfaction, right? And not only the energetic satisfaction, but the space by which we feel that we don't need to make an energetic big, like the space by which we don't feel the need to make everything, like the modality by which we feel a lot of that intensity, but then we just work towards, right? The space by which we just allow for the context of the easement. I just keep on getting that these are the relationships that like they can heal through anything, right? It doesn't, like, look at this. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what comes towards them. All that matters is how one chooses to effectively navigate it. And so, which with a lot of these, like, that's what I mean. Like, this is what I like looking into these 4 cards together. This is what I mean about the gift of these moon relationships, because we see here, we've got the Page of Pentacles, we've got the 9 of Cups, we've got the Devil card, and we've got the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. And so that effectively, like when you read them together, that says that when you apply, like when you apply the work, right, to any circumstance, right, and you allow for that sense of energetic stabilization to occur, there's nothing, right? There's nothing that can effectively stand in the way, because it's the observation of effectively working through something tirelessly. And that tirelessly that we see here, like that is, I keep on getting, like that is the gift that they bring to each other, because it is the space by which they articulate and define upon, right, that having that sense of patience. But not just the, I keep hearing, not just the sense of patience, the sense by which they understand that the things that energetically frustrate us, right? Not allowing external frustrations to stand in the way of healthy connection is what I keep on seeing. So they're really, I keep on hearing there's something really beautiful. And I either see this either in energy in solitude, right? Like this is the energy that's working in solitude, because I've got 3 different modalities right now that are occurring for the energy that's in solitude right now, working through these moon relationships. This is energy in solitude that is taking the same perception of the energy that's deep within divine union, because apparently this is an alignment day, right? Because it's the energy that says that the force of our compassion is such that we bring that compassion to situations, but then we don't go any further, right? Right? It's like that's what we articulate by which we hold our compassion with our standards, which is the observation of what is effectively achievable, but not just what is achievable, what is reasonable, right? Achievable and reasonable. We see here that for a lot of those relationships, moving deeper into that, either the energy and solitude that holds compassion towards the reasonable nature by which they approach situations and circumstances. Because when you approach things, and I need to point this out, when you approach things from a space of reasonability, right? When you approach things from a space of reasonability and compassion, if there's something that reacts to reasonability and compassion, then you recognize what needs to be healed, right? And this is why this energy and solitude is taking that into healthy relationship, because they're approaching situations. I either see energy and solitude approaching situations with a sense of measured reason and compassion. And if somebody is reactive in the modality by which we are being reasonable and compassionate, right, that doesn't require us to change. That's an observational point that we notate as we continue further on, further. Right? So this is the energy that is moving through the profound direction of navigating difficult new relationships where they're observing and identifying what feels energetically reasonable, but with a sense of proportionality, right? And learning to heal from the illusion of rejection. Because if we navigate a situation with a sense of compassion and reason, and another person is reactive, that isn't rejection, that is energetic protection. Whereas if we are in, this is the modality by which I see relationships that are moving deeper into partnership, because they identify and they love that part of each other. And I also see here, and we got to talk about this. I feel like I see here, and this is what we can expect. This is what we can expect when Saturn comes out of retrograde, and in Pisces season, right? I keep on seeing some kind of motif by which another person tries to articulate. I don't even know where this is coming from. Somebody trying to articulate that they thought that they were still in partnership with someone, even though they take a break. But we don't take a break in relationship, right? The modality by which we talk about breaks, healthy relationship, there are no breaks, is what I keep on hearing. Healthy relationship is working through, you can take, and again, this is always comes through, and it's, it's because Jupiter is in Cancer, right? Because Cancerian energy often teaches us, right? It's okay to require recesses, right? It's okay. It's okay. I keep on hearing, it's okay to say that one needs a minute, right? It's okay to say that one needs an hour, right? The modality by which we articulate and refine the fact that we sometimes need, the identification point of needing something, needing a moment to energetically compose ourselves, right? It's that is the definition point, but it's always the space by which we understand that composure points always have an end date, right? It's there's a it's not an open-ended thing, is what I keep on seeing. It's not an open-ended thing. It's not it's something that is definable, that is energetically reasonable. And so that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to, I keep on hearing disambiguations that may be occurring in the modality by which another person left someone completely confused in relationality to energetically moving away from something and returning back, versus the clarification of being able to be very, very specific in relationality towards what it is that we articulate versus what is energetically reasonable to receive back to each other, right? It's the modality by which we articulate upon those moments. It's the space by which we speak towards them that allows the context of something becoming energetically practical. So for I keep on getting a lot of these relationships, or a lot of these situations working into those, that the context of, and I'm not surprised to see this here, because especially with Venus and Mars in Capricorn, right? That is the space by which we say love is not just a gift, but love is a gift in that it's practical. Practical. It's practical. It's working through the practicality of love, that nourishing love is practical too, right? It's like if Venus and Mars goes, it's really romantic, being practical. It's the practicality that we give each other that becomes the energetic gift. So there's a lot of that energy there that we see that is happening in relationality to those modalities or those experiences. Now, continuing to get clarification between our Page of Pentacles in combination with the Nine of Cups and its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now. Wow. We've got the Two of Swords in its reversal in combination with the two of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the Two of Swords in its reversal with the Two of Wands in its reversal. The Two of Swords in its reversal with the Two of Wands in its reversal. It speaks to us. It speaks to us a lot about the, and we're moving back into those temperance relationships. It's like this is the gift that the temperance relationships are always here, right? These two, these counterparts, these temperance relationships understand this to their core, is what I keep on getting. This is the energy that articulates upon the significance or the energetic importance that we have. And I keep on seeing what's beautiful about those relationships is it feels to me like the energy effectively resolves upon or works through something to a certain extent that allows for the ability of something to be energetically possible. And I keep on getting, especially with these temperance relationships, these temperance relationships they're working so hard. They're working so hard on the observation of trying to do something that it's almost like I can see this energy that almost says to each other that the gift that they give each other is time, right? The modality by which they give each other time. I would not be surprised if there's temperance relationships right now that are trying to work upon navigating some feeling of energetic disconnectedness from counterpart, is what I keep on seeing. Because for those relationships, and that's what I meant, we've got Jupiter, I almost see that Jupiter in retrograde with Uranus in retrograde is the energy, it's almost the energy that identifies and recognizes that they work in different modalities because they're giving each other, that is the implementation or application of the love that they give to each other, right? It's not even the space of their presence, right? It's like I keep on hearing for something about the temperance relationships. It's almost like the gift of their non-presence, but I keep on hearing the gift of their non-presence is effectively the space by which they're working to energetically take care of things so that so that they can give each other some kind of time there, is what I keep on seeing. Right. So there's a lot of that energy that we effectively see that's working into that space. And this brings us to, and that's what I like, and this brings us to those magician relationships. Clarification between our Nine of Cups in its upright in combination with the Devil card. Come on, one. Woohoo! Wait, really? Okay. There are so many cards that just came out. Hold on. This one goes here and this one goes there. Okay. So the three here, we're going to stick those because they stay over there, because that makes sense, because those were going to be the energy in solitude right now. So we're going to draw on those three because that is the splitting that's happening right now for energy and solitude. But moving back into the Nine of Cups and its upright with the Devil card, we've got the High Priestess in its reversal. So let's talk about this High Priestess in its reversal. And this is the thing about it right now. I got to describe, the thing with we got to talk a little bit about this High Priestess in its reversal energy, because High Priestess in its reversal energy, particularly in combination with the Chariot, it's working through the observation of, and this is what I'm getting with these magician relationships, is working through the observation of what occurs when we get too hard on the self, right? Because and this is why I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, and this is what's so hard about these magician relationships, it's not the fact, I keep wondering, love just never asks for absurd things, is what I keep on hearing. Like, that's what I keep on hearing. I just keep on getting this for the energy deep. Like, these are the magician relationships, which is, and this is what's funny about it, because they're magician relationships. So it's saying to me that, remember that those relationships, they love absurd things. Like, this is the energy that when they give each other things, they give each other absurd things. But it's the observation that they're articulating upon the fact that love never asks for absurd things, which is the modality by which we understand that we don't ask for things from each other that feel like they're energetically unreasonable, right? It's not the space by which we energetically ask for things that are energetically unreasonable. But I think it's funny because when I read into these magician relationships, they're very, very quirky. Okay, so they're surrounded by absurd things because they love things that are delightfully absurd, is what I keep on getting. They love things that are delightfully absurd, but they're having a conversation about the fact that love doesn't ask for absurd things from us, right? Because the shape of our trauma, like, they only like externalized absurdity, right? Because the shape of trauma being such that they're healing from situations by which they were potentially navigating another person's unreasonableness, right? Like, the space by which someone says absurdity outside of the self is delightful. Absurdity inside the self is awful. Is awful. Is awful. Is absolute. Yeah. Like, it's like, I keep on hearing absurd. That's what the magician relationships are saying. They're saying absurdity outside the self is delightful. Absurdity within the self is monstrous. That's what I keep on hearing them say. That's what they're articulating. Absurdity outside of the self is delightful. Absurdity inside the self becomes monstrous, right? We work to heal the monstrousness within us by externalizing the absurdity outside of ourselves, right? It's working through the space of the delightful absurdity that we hold, not that we contain within, right? It's okay to hold something absurd, because that way you're seeing it, you're not living it, is what I keep on getting. So there's a little bit of this like, fix your heart kind of energy happening right now in some of those, in like conversations in those relationships, right? And that's the thing about it. Like, I can see the energy holding pain for something in relationality to what they can't, like, to an absurd. I keep hearing they're hurting from an absurdity they can't touch, right? And that's what trauma is, right? I'm hurting from an absurdity I can't touch. I can't affect someone else's heart space, right? And that's why I see a lot of the energy trying to work towards, like, working into the space of energetically healing from something. But even in the modality by which they're working to heal, it's like, I keep on getting, it's the sense of space in relationality to navigating situations with a sense of reason and proportionality. Continuing to get clarification between our Devil card in its upright in combination with our Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. We've got the Nine of Wands in its reversal, the Three of Swords in its reversal, and the Magician card in its reversal. So we've got a lot of that energy there. And I keep on seeing And this is what I see that's happening right now for the energy in solitude. We've got 3 different modalities that's happening right now for the energy. I keep on getting for the energy that's in solitude. So we've got, this is confirmation that we're reaching the closure point of a lot of those moon relationships. And let's talk a little bit about what we're energetically seeing there. And I keep on getting something about those situations and circumstances that feel, I keep hearing, feel very energetically restorative is what I keep on seeing. So let's work through that a little bit, because and I'm going to walk you guys through the 3 different phases that we see. And I'm going to tell you right now, some energy is going through all of it at once. If you're going through all of it at once, I'm giving you a hug somewhere. Okay. I'm giving you a hug. Okay. Because I've got some energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. And the gift they're effectively articulating to each other is how much peace they're literally saying to each other. They're saying to each other, you are my peace. They're saying you are my peace. And when they say you are my peace, they actually mean I love you. Because they're saying I love you. Because it is the work that they energetically do to facilitate that feeling of peace, right? The ease that they bring to each other in relationality to just moving through something in such a space by which we care about each other in the modality by which we work to create peace for one another. So I see that there's a lot of that energy that effectively is working through those modalities or experiences. And even in the space by which they're working to energetically resolve that, like I just keep on seeing that there's something really, I keep on hearing there's something really energetically beautiful there, but I keep on hearing not just beautiful, it's the energy that articulates to each other. Like I keep on seeing in a world, I keep hearing in a world that often, and this is what we sometimes experience with like Jupiter and Cancer, in a world by which it often feels, and this is what I hear the energy saying, in a world by which it often feels that energy is just looking for a reason, right? In a world that often feels like it is often just looking for a reason to let out energetic aggression upon one another. The modality to be able to find a counterpart that is always working to absolve that from within, so their love feels like love without. I keep on seeing that is the energy that almost says to one another, thank you. Like, thank you. Thank you for creating that space. Thank you for observing that. Thank you for thank you for being that. Thank you for being that space. And I keep on getting, for a lot of the energy, it's hard because I can see the energy like almost finding a hard time talking to each other about like how, and I keep hearing it's the patience that brings peace with it. Right? It's not the fact that things have been perfect, but the fact that they've been patient with each other during a lot of those frustrations that they've been having in relationality, trying to come together. Now, I also see here relationships where another person is basically saying, "You've come back. You didn't come back with you didn't come back with peace. You came back with emotions." Right? This is what's hard in relationality. Like we've had this happen a few times before when we've had Pisces, when we've had Saturn, and when we get Saturn and why am I blanking? Neptune. Sorry. When we get Saturn and Neptune, that are both in, but that's what I mean in terms of like Saturn and Neptune, both stationing direct in Pisces, is working into the context of understanding that our feelings don't heal anything. But those who are not good at sharing their feelings have this like misunderstanding in their heads that makes one feel, that says to the self, oh, it's okay. I can fix that. I just need to bring my feelings to it and it'll fix. Nothing has ever been fixed with feelings. Feelings only fix things if there's directions attached to the feelings. The modality or the circumstance by which we articulate our feelings that have directions attached to them, that's when our feelings become like it's a two-part system. It's a two-part system. It's a two-part system. If you don't have the emotions connected to the feelings and you go around giving feelings to everything, the feelings often break stuff. You'd be surprised. You'd be like, yeah, I brought some feelings. Oh, now it's broken, right? You have to have the energy, you have to have the directions. And so that's why I keep on seeing that there may be some conflict. There may be some energetic conflict that's arriving in the modality of someone trying to come back towards another person, right? And being like, I'm ready to share feelings, being like, you're supposed to always be, you're supposed to, you're supposed to always be in that modality. You're supposed to always be like that. The feelings, like the modality of saying I'm ready to share them, being like the experience by which we understand that it doesn't, it needs to be, it's not enough, right? And so I can see even now the energy, like the energy working through like those modalities or experiences. But even, I keep wondering, even in the modality by which they're working through that, it's the observation of what effectively allows the space of being able to energetically heal upon something. And I keep on getting like even in the experience by which they articulate upon their healing, I keep on seeing that it's working into the space of them working to working to energetically protect their heart space more. And that brings us to some energy right now that's working on both of those things at the same time. Potentially situations or circumstances by which energy is effectively, I keep wondering, energy is effectively articulating to each other how they energetically, like how they feel about things, but not just the space. I keep on seeing like it's working into the context of the energy in solitude, being able to have a practical, I keep wondering, like having a practical conversation to a certain extent in relationality to working through those. And like, I keep wondering, like working through it. And that's what I meant. if energy is going through both of those things at the same time, right? Literally a situation where another person has been actively working in terms of healthy partnership, seeing how easy it can be to heal through difficulty, right? And in the same experience by which they've been working to heal through difficulty, another person coming, articulating or trying to come back and being like, I'm ready to like effectively energetically express upon the space by which I'm ready to have a conversation about it. Like I can almost see energy articulating to another person being like, while you've been like building into the context of talking about something, they've been actively working through, or resolving things with another person. Like they're doing it, like it doesn't, I keep on hearing it shouldn't, right? It's like, I keep on hearing it shouldn't create like, it's the understanding or the energetic resilience that we bring to things that allow things to be energetically possible. So I keep on getting here. There's a lot of catharsis that's happening, and potentially even healthy conversations in relationality to even situations that are moving towards separation. Because I keep on seeing, like, even in the space by which the separation is being articulated or defined, it's working through the energetic reason that we bring towards things. But even in the space by which they're articulating reason, it's the energy that's able to identify and articulate upon their feelings or feeling, like I keep on hearing, like trying to work through the energetic distance that they feel in those experiences that potentially occurs when they try to talk about their feelings, is what I keep on getting. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Wands in its reversal with the High Priestess in its reversal. One card to clarify. We've got the Hermit card. I'm not surprised to see it there, given all the cards that we're seeing right now. And this is just your daily reminder. This is just your daily reminder that we are halfway out. We're halfway out of the retrograde season. We've still got some planets in retrograde right now. And the planets that are retrograde will definitely affect your sensitivity. So make sure you're not being extra sensitive about something that usually would not be a big energetic deal, is what I keep on seeing. Because it's like it's working into, like it's working through that. And I want to describe this, right? Our emotions our emotions, our emotions are not something we need to energetically get rid of. And I keep on seeing like the space by which like, and I keep on like there's a lot of this space that we see that potentially is working through the space of our feelings. And it's a reminder that everything we have is a gift. Every single thing within us is a gift. And even the parts of the self that one feels like one would rather move away from, right? When we start to look at ourselves more and saying, what if I tried to embrace that, right? And it's not the space. And that doesn't mean that there aren't things within us that we work to resolve and heal. But the modality by which, like the modality by which we face difficulty, right? And I want to describe this, like the space by which we embrace difficulty and we say, what if I embrace that? Like that is often what we talk about when we speak towards healing. Like that's what we mean by shadow work, right? It's not the space by which we say that everything is energetically okay. It's the space by which we try to understand why it's not, right? It's the space by which we work through hard feelings within ourselves. It's the space by which we understand and recognize that our own sense of our feelings of frustration and confusion can often light the way when we're ready to face them with a sense of compassion, but also with a deep understanding of our own energetic standards that help us to guide us through difficult energetic circumstances. And I feel like that's what we're effectively seeing that's happening right now with a lot of this energy. And we've got a lot of energy that's still in retrograde, and we've got a lot of energy that feels like it's coming out of retrograde. And the word I want to bring forth in terms of reading through this, and this is happening across all the retrograde, the lessons through partnership right now, is proportionality, right? It's the modality by which we understand the energetic, like it's the modality by which we work to understand things better. And I feel like that is effectively what we're effectively articulating or identifying that's happening right now. And I feel like even in those modalities or experiences, like working into the context of what feels significant and important, it's often the direction by which we're able to speak towards things in such a way that it helps us build into that sense of directionality. And a lot of I want to point out, the space by which we identify that can often speak with the force of intention in terms of the work that we're trying to do. And I keep on moving back towards those temperance relationships. I just keep on seeing, like, that's the hard thing with a lot of these temperance relationships that's happening right now, is I can almost see the energy that is working through like the perception of the self that feels like hard, it feels rigid, it feels like the energy that often wants to give up on the self. But I keep on hearing like the temperance relationships that articulate and say, you don't perceive yourself right? Like the perception like the perception of trying to do something energetically perfectly, but in the modality by which one gets upset at oneself because you're not aspiring. Like the difference, I keep on hearing the energy, the temperance relationship saying, are you upset at yourself because you're not doing something that you would desire to do? Or are you upset at yourself because you're not aspiring right? Because aspiring, like that's the thing about aspiring, right? It's always the space by which we feel that there's something we could be doing better, right? It's the modality by which we're effectively trying to do something. And I keep on hearing like these are aspiring, like aspirational problems. I keep on hearing aspirational problems are the best problem, because it's the amplification of the energy that effectively identifies or articulates upon like what they're effectively trying to do better, but what they're having a hard time, like it's working through the sense of the self is what I keep on hearing. Continuing to get clarification between that High Priestess in its reversal with the Nine of Wands in its upright, the Three of Swords in its reversal, and the Magician card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We've got the Queen of Cups here. And this brings us to those Magician relationships. And I keep on seeing the Magician relationships right now. And I need to point this out. Like, this is energy that's in deep alignment, right? And I feel like what's beautiful about those relationships is, and I love to see these two cards together, because it's the energy that's effectively working towards something. But I keep on hearing working towards something in such a way that one is able to articulate and identify the sense of energetic proportionality by which they're working to heal, versus observing another person's feelings upon their healing journey, is what I keep on getting. And I keep on hearing like our healing journeys, should never hurt each other, is what I keep on hearing. Right? And often I keep on seeing, like, often the space by which we hold compassion in relationality to others, like having, like, I keep on hearing, like, their Magician relationships navigating unresolved feelings in relationality to their healing journeys, right? And that's what I keep on hearing with the unresolved feelings in relationality to their healing journey, which is the observation that the sense or the space by which we feel that sense of, like, compassion for one another is often amplified or articulated by the feeling of love that we bring forth to things. And so I just keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that observation of that work is what is helping them in terms of fortifying their own intentions, because I see the energy that articulates upon the energetic standard by which they work to express their love. But not like, and that's why we talk about healthy love has a standard, which is the standard of love that puts their, like, healthy love articulates upon something and energetically goes no further in relationality to like the healing, because I keep on hearing healthy energy does not require us to do absurd things, right? It's the observation that gift that we give to one another is being able to see our force of intention, being able to identify and recognize it. Not, I keep on hearing, like, not the space by which we amplify or articulate, like, the energetic, I keep on hearing, like, not the space, like, we don't need to effectively bend backwards for each other when we don't have to bend backwards for each other when we're lending each other energetic assistance, right? And often I keep on hearing, like, the modality by which we articulate the feeling of bending over backwards is often more about working through the healing within ourselves, because it's the observation that we're energetically patient towards situations and circumstances that recognize or acknowledge that they're finding our patience there. So it's like saying to me that there's something important that the Magician relationships are working through as it relates to lessons related to elegance. Continuing to get clarification between the Hermit card and the Queen of Cups, final card for today's spread, we've got the Five of Swords in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this Five of Swords energy. The Five of Swords in its upright. The Five of Swords in its upright is working into the context of the past, right? And the context of the past, and this is what we talk about, you know, the observation that every moment is an opportunity that we bring for everything to become energetically exceptional, right? Like, every opportunity is the moment of effective arrival, in terms of, like, every moment. When we look at every moment as a moment of arrival, it allows us to depart from situations and circumstances that feel that they are energetically, I keep on hearing, like, that often create those modalities by which we energetically harbor things, right? And the modality by which The modality by which we energetically harbor things is often the observation of the limitation, right? Because you can't energetically innovate upon something if you're constantly harboring upon it. It's the modality by which we work to energetically resolve any hard feelings within us that allow new experiences to come towards us. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, particularly and especially, and this is something that's happening across the frequencies, the modality or the experience of working through, and I'm just going to get back into those energies that are in solitude right now, like the modality or the experience by which we energetically work to resolve upon something, it's often conditional in terms of being able to have an energetic sense of purpose, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like the modality of feeling or working towards something with a sense of purpose. And that's the thing. When we're harboring something, our purpose becomes harboring it, right? We've all had those moments. We've all been working through energetic resentment, right? Like the modality by which we hold on to a resentment and we allow it to effectively define our purpose, it erases anything that we're energetically working on trying to achieve or do. And so that's what I keep on hearing that's happening right now for a lot of the energy, and just moving through all of the frequency, because I keep on getting that for the energy in solitude, if these are modalities by which one feels connected to the past, like having a hard time letting go of something, like what is the resolution point, right? Having your hands full of present, right? It's not going back. And this is often we talk about the illusion of closure. Like closure does not exist, right? Often a need to desire closure is a desire to go backwards, right? The space by which another person potentially articulates the desire for closure is not necessarily the closure itself, so much as a desire to effectively return back to something. So that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of energy right now, healing from trauma. And that's a problem. Our trauma is open-ended. Our trauma is perpetually open-ended. If it wasn't open-ended, it would not be trauma. Okay, it would not be trauma. If it was not open-ended, it would not be trauma, right? Like trauma is often the space by which you look at something and be like, it didn't make any sense. Still don't make any sense. I guarantee you, 100 years will go by, won't make any sense. You know why? Because trauma is absurd. Trauma is absurd. It's open-ended. It makes no sense. If it did not, and often you try to march back into trauma to get clarification. And what do you find there? More trauma. Okay. You find more trauma. You cannot go into a traumatic situation with logic. Okay? Logic doesn't make sense in a trauma situation. The whole point is it doesn't make sense. The sooner you realize that, the easier things get, because it's the modality or the experience of understanding, the modality and experience by which you look at trauma and you go, it doesn't make any, I found it, right? It's a modality by which we work through something and we're able to energetically resolve upon it, that we're able to start to heal from it, right? And it's hard because our minds are such that we always want to find a reason why, right? And the modality of understanding that the ego, and this is why we work to make sure our egos are in a healthy place, because the ego, an unhealthy ego, will ask for absurd things, right? So you've got the modality of working through the energetic absurdity of something, and then you recognize the fact that an unhealed ego will ask for absurd things, and you recognize and identify what one is working to let go upon, what one is working to energetically heal, versus what we're effectively working to do better in a different fashion. And I keep on seeing this right now because I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy, it's like I keep wondering, like a lot of that energy working through things in such a way that it allows for the sense of and reason is the greatest gift that we give to each other, because that sense of reason is the ease by which we're able to effectively identify and recognize what it is that we're trying to do, and not just what it is we're trying to do, the way that we're trying to do it. So I feel like for a lot of energy right now, like it's hard because this type of energy can often make us feel really, really sensitive and feel very, very vulnerable, particularly and especially in relationality to the trauma that we, like the past. But when we're able to see the space by which we recognize or identify the full breath, when we look at that and say like, wow, like that was painful, like that really effectively hurt, that allows us to effectively be able to resolve upon what it is that we're trying to do better, right? Versus what it is that we often feel like we have to carry within us because some trauma we can't let go of, right? Some trauma, like we carry with us and we wish we could let it go. But the observation of being able to understand that and to be able to not let it shape us or inform us is the condition by which we're able to meet the world around us with the possibility of what we could see that is better. And so I feel like that's something that's happening across all of the frequencies. Bottom of the deck on this reading, Ace of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the Ace of Wands and its reversal, because the Ace of Wands in its reversal speaks to us. And I'm just going to remind you too. I'm going to keep on reminding you as Venus is stuck between Mercury and Mars right now. Venus between Mercury and Mars is the feeling of getting very, very reminiscent upon the past and the feelings that things don't look pretty going forward. Okay. That is the energetic feeling that we often have in relationality to Venus stuck between Mercury behind and Mars before, right? It's getting mad at the self in relationality to where you effectively are and feeling the anxiety about what it is that is ahead of you. All right. You are exactly where you need to be. And every moment is an opportunity of new possibilities. I want you to let that kind of help you navigate those modalities. And in the space by which we understand and recognize that, allows us to be able to feel energetically fortified in terms of what it is that we're trying to do. So make sure, I keep on saying, like, make sure that you work towards that and let it, like I keep on hearing, like, let it define your purpose. Don't get upset in relationality to, like I keep on hearing, like the observation that this energy feels a lot like a Venus retrograde is often the modality by which we feel the context of ourselves that feels like it's energetically distorted. When we see the distortions in others, we navigate the fact that that is a projection. And when we're working on it within ourselves, we always let it fortify our own personal sense of direction. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and ask and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who participated in our recent class on the judgment card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, January 15th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the World card. If you'd like to become part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You'll also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I do my best to give you guys an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning the next class, but the materials are there for you to receive as you're ready to receive them. You'll also have access to if you become a founding member, not only will you have a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my week. I also post my mystic meditation articles there, which will let you know about my, will give you energetic updates on what we've been seeing based on the lunation cycles. I just wrote one recently on this new moon that we had that was very much like a full moon. I also want to let you guys know that I also want to invite you to head over to my stack to learn more about a very special retreat that I'll be hosting this August. We will be studying the tarot in the birthplace or the cradle by which the tarot was first discovered. I'd like to invite you to join me August 8th through 8th through the 13th on a tour of Tuscany, Rome, and Florence, where we will be learning to sharpen. We will be working on our tarot skills while also studying the culture and understanding the context of the locationality that allowed the tarot to find a home where it was able to flourish and thrive. If you'd like to find out more information about that retreat, you can also find it over on my stack. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused upon each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again.